Sometimes, the most unexpected friendships emerge in the most unlikely of places. Take Mewie, for example, a little ginger cat with an enormous personality, and Nandi, a baby rhino who was once lost and alone in a cruel world. Though it seems too remarkable to be real, their relationship is one of those unique tales that thrives daily. What could bring these two together? How could a cat and a rhino, so different in size and nature, find common ground? Stay tuned for today's video on animals need love to discover. j.traynor stood at the edge of the lush green savanna in Limpopo, South Africa, watching the morning sun stretch over the horizon. The warmth of the day was already in the air as she prepared for another busy day at the rhino orphanage. It was here that Jamie dedicated her life to saving the orphaned rhinos of the region, each one a story of loss and hope, a testament to her passion for wildlife conservation. Today, as usual, Jamie would be spending time with Nandi, a young rhino who had become a symbol of resilience. Nandi's journey had started in tragedy. That was the day when the call had come late one afternoon, a desperate plea for help. A young rhino was found with 3 stab wounds on her back, most likely trying to protect her mother from poachers. She was just 2 months old, and fortunately, the wounds were superficial, but Jamila was left without her mother, and she was struggling to adjust to life alone. The trauma had affected her deeply. She had even begun eating sand out of desperation, causing significant harm to her young stomach. Jamie immediately took charge. She knew that rhinos, especially at Jamila's age, were incredibly social animals. In the wild, they stayed with their mothers until they were about 2 or 3 years old, learning the ways of the world and forming bonds. Without that, Jamila was lost and in need of comfort. At first, she was feisty, her personality full of sass and spirit, but Jamie's warmth and attention soon helped Jamila start to settle in. Despite the challenge, Jamila quickly became a beloved member of the orphanage. She had her own mattress at night, but always she wanted to be close to her caregivers. Jamie and the other caretakers often slept beside her, keeping her company until she drifted off to sleep, her massive form curled up like a young child. "She's the center of attention at the orphanage," Jamie said with a grin. Jamila, full of attitude, quickly charmed everyone who came into contact with her. But Nandi wasn't the only one Jamie had saved. On a chilly morning months earlier, Jamie had found a tiny, bedraggled ginger kitten in a township. His fur was matted and his tiny body shook from malnutrition. Without hesitation, Jamie scooped him up, bringing him back to the orphanage. She named him Mewie, and with tender care, she nursed him back to health. From the moment he could walk, Mewie was always up for an adventure. He followed Jamie everywhere, and soon he discovered his love for walks. He wasn't like most cats. No, Mewie was more like a little dog. When Jamie would head out to care for the animals, Mewie would trot behind her, eager to explore every inch of the orphanage grounds. He was quick, often darting ahead of her, tail flicking with excitement as he led the way. Jamie could hardly handle how cute he looked, his tiny body full of determination, his eyes bright with joy. "Mewie's the king of the orphanage," Jamie would laugh, watching him take charge. He was a little troublemaker at times, but everyone adored him. He wasn't the scrappy kitten he once was. He had grown into a confident, outgoing cat. He'd grown up surrounded by all sorts of animals, a baby buffalo, a springbok, bush babies, even a 3-legged squirrel. The orphanage was a world full of creatures who had stories just like his, all of them seeking a second chance. Mewie had always been a constant companion to Jamie, never far from her side. He'd follow her to check on the rhinos, curious about their massive size, but he had never shown fear. It was no surprise that, when Jamie began staying overnight with Nandi, Mewie insisted on joining them. It happened on a cool evening just after Jamie had settled in for her usual overnight stay at the orphanage with Nandi. The young rhino was still adjusting to life without her mother, and Jamie, as her primary caregiver, had been spending more time with her, offering comfort and companionship. Mewie, never one to be left out, had followed Jamie into Nandi's room, his soft paws patting lightly against the floor. The rhino, curious but cautious, watched as the little cat trotted into her space. At first, there was a brief moment of hesitation from both animals. Nandi, still trying to understand the world around her, had never encountered a cat before. She snorted gently, her large eyes wide, unsure of the small creature before her. But Mewie, ever fearless, didn't flinch. He simply hopped onto the bed beside Nandi and curled up comfortably. He seemed to take it all in stride, as if to say, "This is where I belong, too." Jamie watched with a smile as Nandi's curiosity got the best of her. The large rhino stretched her neck toward Mewie, sniffing him gently, her soft snorts filling the air. Mewie, not at all intimidated by her size, stretched out and rolled onto his back in a display of trust, purring contentedly. It didn't take long for Nandi to soften, her earlier uncertainty melting into an affectionate bond. She nuzzled Mewie with her broad, leathery snout, and the little cat responded by gently kneading the blankets beside her. It was as if they had both known, deep down, that, despite their stark differences, they could find comfort in each other's company. From that moment on, they were inseparable. The night after their first encounter, Jamie could already see the change in Nandi and Mewie. It wasn't just the peaceful way they slept side by side, their bodies curling into one another as if they had always known each other, but something deeper. Nandi seemed more at ease, more secure, and Mewie, though small, was now playing a new role in her life, a companion. The next morning, when Jamie led Nandi out for their usual walk, Mewie was right there, as always, trailing behind them. But this time, something was different. Mewie didn't stay at a safe distance. Instead, he trotted up to Nandi's side, darting between her thick legs and brushing up against her massive body as if he were her shadow. Nandi, for her part, was curious. She slowed her pace, casting a glance down at the little cat with a soft snort, and then it happened. Mewie, who was always brave but small, suddenly darted ahead and scampered up a slight hill where a patch of wildflowers grew. Nandi, intrigued, followed after him, her heavy feet making soft thuds against the earth. When she reached the top, she paused, her large ears flicking back as she watched Mewie play with the flowers, batting them with his tiny paws. Nandi, the orphaned rhino who had once wandered aimlessly through the savannah in search of her mother, had now found something else, something more. Mewie, in all his smallness, was showing Nandi that joy could still be found, that there was life to be lived even after loss. He chased after the wind, leaping at the flowers, and Nandi, so much bigger, tried to follow suit, her massive head dipping down to nuzzle the flowers as well. It was a playful moment, a shared experience neither of them had known before, and in that moment, they became even closer. Jamie watched from a distance, her heart swelling with pride. I don't think they noticed the size difference, really. She had always known that animals could form deep bonds, but this was something extraordinary. Here was a little cat, no bigger than Nandi's leg, teaching the young rhino how to play, how to find happiness even in the smallest things. As they continued their walk, Mewie led the way, weaving in and out of Nandi's large steps. When the path grew narrow, Mewie would stop, looking back to make sure Nandi was still with him. It was clear now. Mewie didn't see Nandi as a strange, towering creature. He saw her as a companion, a friend who could match his energy, his curiosity, and his playful spirit. By the time they returned to the orphanage, the bond between the two was undeniable. They weren't just two animals living side by side anymore. They were family. Nandi, who had once wandered lost and lonely, now had a playful companion by her side, and Mewie, the little ginger cat, who had been saved from the streets, had found something that went beyond survival. He had found a partner, a protector, and a friend. From then on, Jamie noticed that wherever Nandi went, Mewie was never far behind. They would roam the grounds together, side by side, learning from each other and growing closer with each passing day. And every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the air cooled, they would curl up together on the bed, their differences no longer a barrier, but a testament to the incredible bond they had forged. Both animals were found without a mother, and both were saved by a second chance at life. Despite how different they are, they have bonded. Mewie may think Nandi is just a strange-looking cat, and Nandi may think Mewie is a tiny, soft, fuzzy rhino. No matter, they know they are each other's family now. So, what do you think of their incredible friendship? Have you ever witnessed an unexpected bond between animals, or even people that changed everything? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you find our video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Finally, don't forget to turn on our bell and subscribe to our channel. Animals need love, so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thank you for your support. Wishing you all peace, happiness, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.